Recording in progress.
Hello guys, welcome back to Biology of Behavior. And here we're talking about other part 4. And in this we'll be talking about anatomy of brain. Like we'll be talking about areas in which it's regulating. Which areas are responsible for different functions. So function and the source, in the sense like function and where exactly the function would be controlled. So when brain is concerned, right, we divide into right and left hemispheres. So within the here I am showing only one half of the hemisphere, and you can see that this is all internal parts. Just imagine that your folded fist as a brain, right, and this is brain stem and spinal cord. So you will have ridges and grooves like a fingers. So this is left hemisphere, this is right hemisphere, and they're both kept together. I mean, left side of the brain and right side of the brain are kept together by the sheath of material. We call it as corpus callosum. So here you can see corpus callosum, a band-like structure which actually gluing two hemispheres together. So, and the left brain would control the right parts of the body, and right brain would control left part of the bodies. So coordination is, bring a boat into action. So let's see different parts. First, we talk about hindbrain. Hindbrain contains medulla. You can see here medulla, which is anterior to the spinal cord. From the medulla, the spinal cord would be running till the tail part, and it is said to be controlling or regulating the heart rate and force of contractions, regulates the distribution of blood flow, sets the pace of respiratory movies, controls vomiting. So vomiting centers are here. So vomit when we feel disgusted about something or some signal as sent to the brain, the vomiting centers actually get activated, and it would be controlling the vomiting or any other reflexes. For example, regulates reflexes such as coughing, salivating, and sneezing. So these are under control of medulla. So medulla, where is medulla? This is medulla oblongata. Okay. And this medulla even includes certain sensory and motor neurons or nuclei, in which 5 cranial nerves would be originating. So cranial nerves. So this is cranium, right? So facial. So the cranium nerves would actually control the sensations and movements of head, and even control much of the activity of parasympathetic nervous system. So if you see this medulla, these are the different functions, and in UGC they might be asking about, from this chapter you can expect match the following, or straightforward questions, correct or incorrect match, or parts and their functions may be asked, will be asked in the UGC. So next part is pons. So pons is immediately located anterior to the medulla, and it actually, what is the function? So function is the ascending and descending tracts of nuclei of cranial nerves should be passing through this pons includes, and it helps in coordinate movements and even involved in the sleep and arousal. So pons is actually maintaining coordinated movements. So the coordinated movements, so eye to hand to legs, coordination. But who brings the balance? There comes our little brain or small brain, cerebellum. Cerebellum is like it is located dorsal side of the medulla and the pons. So this is ventral part, this is dorsal part. So cerebellum is there, that is nothing but small brain. Why we call the cerebellum as small brain, for that matter? because it represents 1/8 the mass of the brain and also includes about 90% of neurons in the nervous system. So that's what we say it is a small brain or little brain. And it coordinates the motor functions based upon the integration of motions and positional information from the inner ear and individual muscles. So from individual muscles and getting information from the inner ear so that the coordination would be possible. So it does not actually initiate the muscle movement, but actually plays a major role in the sensory and motor functions. Coming to, this is about hindbrain. Coming about midbrain. So midbrain lies anterior to pons, see anterior to pons, this pons, this is midbrain. And it is present in between the forebrain, frontal lobes, forebrain and the hindbrain, the tail part, medulla oblongata and spinal cord. So it is present in the middle. So the midbrain functions, if you see, it integrates sensory processes. So sensory processes would be integrated, involved in even eye movement. So if you see that the eye movement, what I'm making now is under control of what? Midbrain. So follow this finger. If you follow this finger, it means that your eyeballs are moving, and if eyeballs are moving, it is controlled by the midbrain part, which is lied in between the pons and the forebrain, hindbrain and the forebrain. So even it is involved in involuntary control of muscles. So involuntary control. And even when suddenly a light falls on your retina. So I'm using flash. So now you can see that your pupils will be dilated or contracted. So that is also a reflexive property, which pupil reflection is under control of midbrain. So these are the different functions of the midbrain.